Day 2 of the Your Golf Tour has come and gone, and we finally have some controversy, a little bit, drop gate. We've got Blocky, tangent at the end with a little cliffhanger. We're going to talk about all of it, the good, little bit of bad. I don't think there is really anything bad about this, and everything in between here on the Scratch Golf Show. Thank you for clicking on this video. Hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Marco and I'm your host. Here on the Scratch Golf Show, we talk all things golf YouTube. We break the biggest news in YouTube golf. We interview the top creators in the YouTube golf space, like hopefully the man, the myth himself, currently 6 under on his round today, Brad Dahlke. Interview coming soon, hopefully. And we report the news, give reaction videos like this on the Your Golf Tour, and hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Speaking of, I think we had 500 comments on the first reaction video. Thank you guys so much. I read all the comments. Drop them in this video below. And before we get into the video, last thing, hit the subscribe button, please. Trying to hit 25K in 2026. Hit the button. It's free. Now, without further ado, let's get into Your Golf Tour episode 2. Okay, so obviously not the normal setup. If you guys, this is not my normal office. I am traveling again, celebrating the 4th of July holiday. Hopefully you guys are having a great holiday weekend, but at the lake house. So got a on-the-go setup here. But anyway, so day 2 of the Your Golf Tour. Wow. I just want to say this because I gave some, I don't want to say harsh constructive criticism after the first one, but I said some stuff, and man, I'm going to put my foot, hand, whatever, mouth, because I love this episode. Top down, this episode from the very beginning was, in my opinion, much, much better than the first episode of the Your Golf Tour. And I think a lot of it has to do with the format. I don't know, maybe it's just because I've seen so many scrambles. The alt shot format was, I loved it. And I'm not an alt shot guy. Like, I don't really like playing alternate shot merely because you only get to hit half your shots. But regardless, I think from a consumer perspective, there was so much, like, I even like the teams playing together in the alt shot format. Like I said in the last video that I didn't love that. I still agree with that take from the scramble format. And I still agree with the take that I said there needs to be more banter and smack talk. But this format was just so great. I mean, you could feel it. I have in my notes here. We're just going to go off the notes page. This video is what the Your Golf Tour is supposed to be. The competition, the drama that formed unnecessary, like without, like not orchestrated, not that Barstool's orchestrated, but the tension down to the end. And we're not going to do, if we do any spoilers, it'll be towards the end. I'm not going to do who went home. I just want to talk about a lot of just my reactions, raw stuff, and then at the very end maybe do some spoilers. But there's the tension you could feel coming down the end for who's going to get cut, who's not going to get cut, who's going to get the second place, who's going to get the chance to play in the finale here at the first stop of the Your Golf Tour. I loved it. You could really feel like I said, this episode was just, from my perspective, I very, very much enjoyed watching this episode from start to finish. I was engaged the entire time. I love the team camaraderie. I think Mr. Short Game said in his podcast, but I felt like the team camaraderie, the explaining the shots, the strategy behind the shots they were going with them, like just hearing good players talk about their strategy behind hitting golf shots. I love it. I'm a nerd. I love hearing player caddy interaction on the PGA Tour. I think it helps a lot, and it's just super cool to hear and see, like, the strategy behind it, and every decision, knowing that if you hit a bad shot, you could not only affect your partner but your team, and you could be costing them tens of thousands of dollars. And that's what I'm talking about. The money, the money is cool, but the pressure and the competitiveness, I love it. That's what the Your Golf Tour is supposed to be. So I love the team camaraderie in this format. I really just enjoyed the shot strategy, explaining what they were doing, and just like where to leave it, stuff like that. I want to give a shout out to Garrett. I didn't give him a shout out in the first video. I think Wesley gave him a shout out of, like, hey, we wouldn't all be here if it weren't for Garrett. And that is 100% true. How many of these guys were in good? How many of these guys did Garrett sign? And not create, but Garrett is just one of the OG influencers, OG YouTubers. He's built a huge platform and has had so much success. And a lot of people owe him a thank you for their career. I'm just going to be honest. So I want to give him a shout out. I also want to give a shout out to him for just saying, like, hey, I don't want the ball. It takes a lot for a man to admit that. I think no one wants to admit, like, hey, I want to sit. Like, I don't want to play. Like, I'm not super confident in myself. And so him just kind of owning it and making Brad's decision easier to make, I felt like was great for the video. Speaking of that part, how about the storytelling? How about them leaving the cliffhanger on the last video of who Brad was going to sit, and then going through that entire conversation before the round, Brad really struggling, picking Peter or Garrett. And at the end, obviously he made the right choice, right, with Peter. Obviously, like I said, I'm gonna do the spoiler stuff at the end, but wow, I mean, talk about storytelling. I think as a YouTuber, I think you really look for stuff like that. A lot of people maybe like miss stuff like that, or maybe that goes over their heads. But I really like the fact that they're just is you saw the Internet Invitational, them planting little seeds that are going to pop up later in the video. Speaking of later in the video, JP. How about my man JP? I am dropping an interview with JP soon here on the channel, probably mid next week. I'm gonna actually depends anyway, but tough start for the young man. Tough start for the young man coming out. You could feel the nerves. And look, JP is a very, very good golfer. I think he held his own. But I saw in the comment section, because I watched it like right when it dropped, or at least parts of it, and I saw in the comment section people saying, "Tough start for JP. Welcome to the channel." Obviously, missing two short putts, not great. But how about the bounce back for the young man? Look, I know him and George didn't play their best, but I mean, him pouring in multiple 25 plus footers for birdie after that start, he held his own, and I think he deserves to be there. That was unbelievable. I'm glad JP got to get some shine. I hope he gets a nice bump from this thing, because it was cool to see him there. I actually didn't know he was a wild card. I recorded this interview with him 3 weeks ago that I'm going to drop after the Your Golf Tour, but he didn't let it slip, so I had no idea. Shout out to him. He is awesome. I think he really held his own. And let's just pause for a sec and talk about the wild cards. I think the wild cards added such an interesting aspect. No one really knew what the wild cards were going to do, but man, oh man, did they play a factor. Ben Haden playing a factor, JP playing a factor, John Peterson. He did not play as great as I thought he would have. John's a really good player, no offense. I had high expectations for him. And then obviously Blocky playing a factor. Blocky played unbelievable. If you didn't hear at the end of the video, he played nine great holes. More on that later. But how about the wild cards, man? Just an absolute great feature to the video. Those guys coming in off the bench, and just being kind of dropped into the middle of a $500,000 purse event, for the winner. Obviously, I thought that the wild cards were an awesome feature. How about this golf course, man? Purcell Farms. If you guys didn't watch Purcell Farms, if you haven't gotten into the YouTube golf space as early as I did, Purcell Farms is like the home of YouTube golf from that aspect. It's where Good used to go do a ton of content, where they had 3v3 scrambles back in Grant OG days, Micah OG days. The course looks unbelievable. It is so pure. The fairways are firm. I mean, you're seeing these balls bounce head high, right? You're seeing these balls bounce way up in the air. These fairways are firm. The greens are firm. You can hear it. It's like a springboard. It's not to say it sounds like a U.S. Open, but that you hear those sounds at the U.S. Open of these golf balls bouncing off the green, and that adds a whole nother factor, and that's what makes these guys play so great, because they're going to have to play to the front number to a middle pin to try and play that first bounce. I just think the golf course is unbelievable. I'm really glad Purcell Farms is getting some shine here in this video, because the golf course, like I said, unbelievable venue for the first event. Like I mentioned, the alt shot, man, I love the alt shot format, infinitely better than the scramble format. I don't know if it's just me. I felt like this form really brought out, like I said earlier in the video, the Your Golf Tour. I really, this video was a defining moment and defining statement for the Your Golf Tour, in my opinion. How about Mika Morris and John Patterson? Micah hitting John Peterson with the Patterson, like 20 minutes, whatever, 30 minutes into the video. I would have loved to, one, if John told him, it just went with it the whole video that he was calling him Patterson, or hit him back with the Mika Morris. That would have been great, but just a funny moment in the video. Tough look for Micah, not knowing his teammates. That would have been a guy he spent a little bit of time with, obviously, the first 9 holes, and then the day of or whatever. So I found that really funny. Just to touch back on the golf course, not only the greens firm, they're rolling so pure. I think you heard a lot of the guys mention how great the golf course is. Ben did, Sean did. I know they mentioned how great the greens were. The greens look unbelievable, and they look like they're rolling unbelievable. Speaking of unbelievable, how about the production? This production is crazy, unbelievable. Shout out to all the guys whoever it is, Sky, Carney, Cam, who's ever putting these videos together. I know all you guys are involved. Whoever I'm not naming, the editors are just unbelievable. You guys have been absolutely killing it. The drone flyovers for the holes, the green grids. I mean, the green grids, how cool of a detail is that to see? Like, you see that on the PGA Tour of these grids showing the breaks of the greens, the runoffs, the slopes, the stuff that you can't really see from a spectator. These green grids, I really love that feature. I really thought that was a great addition to the video. You guys, like I said, are killing it on the production. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Regardless, like I mentioned, look, this may sound like I I don't really have a ton of bad to say. I mean, there's more. I'm going to talk a little bit about the bad, if there is any. But just from the first video to the second video, I got a few DMs from my Instagram saying, "Man, this video, in my opinion, was so much better than the first one." And look, even in my comment section from the first one, it seems like a lot of you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. But it just seems like you guys really, really like the golf. I felt this episode had everything: really good golf, drama, natural drama, tension with the cut line, a little bit of controversy, which let's get into. Let's get into that. So this Grant drop, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that in the comments below on what you guys thought of the drop. I know that it didn't. Okay, spoiler. If you haven't watched the Your Golf Tour, spoiler. Here's your spoiler. Now I'm gonna get into spoilers. I know it obviously didn't matter in the end, but I know that Team Brad was not happy. I mean, you saw some of Sean's facial reactions for that drop, and man, he was pissed. I promise you, he was not happy. He did not. I mean, he did not like that drop in the video. You could make that. I mean, he was pretty evident about like I don't know. But what did you guys think of that? I mean, I'm gonna tie some stuff in here with Blocky too, because it seems like Blocky was the one like, oh yeah, like do this, you get this drop. And I think Toombs and Taco and Josh Kelly, like other teams did agree with that, but then George came over, kind of gave a little like, the one George's one flaw is I don't think he's assertive enough. And I think if Wesley saw that, I think Wesley would have sided with George and Sean. I do. I'm not going to speak for Wesley. I'm just going to say that I felt like that drop. Grant, I get Grant did it. He had got his playing partner's approval. He said, "Look, it is what it is." But it felt like Blocky was like really leading. Like, no, you get to drop it on the other side, not in the high grass. So let me know your guys' thoughts of that in the comments below. I did want to ask you guys one thing. There was a point in the video where I thought I saw Quan pick up his putt to realign it and didn't mark his ball. I'm not going to accuse Quan of anything, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if anyone else saw that, let me know in the comments. I may be crazy. Is what it is. I just wanted to point that out. Speaking of Blocky, him and Chance Taylor is a freaking all-star, man. The fact that Grant got Chance as the last overall pick, and even if it was whatever, some people, I saw some comments saying the draft was scripted. I don't know if that necessarily believe that, but Chance Taylor was the steal of the draft. This guy is unbelievable. Watching him hit some of the tracers, like if you're an OG golf, like TikTok, whatever follower, Chance is very popular. He's very popular for hitting these really cool shots, slingers, his accent, right? His look. No offense, he's a great dude, but obviously he gets a lot of attention. He's an all-star. I'm glad that he's getting his shine here on the Your Golf Tour. He has been playing really well, and I think he's going to continue to play well as we get down into these events. Blocky and Chance played unbelievable. Like, they played great. I think they were an unbelievable team. Yeah, I really enjoyed. I just enjoy Chance. I enjoy watching Chance. I think I saw in my YouTube studio, I dropped an interview with him like last month, and since the last couple days, it's got like 10,000 more views or something because of the Your Golf Tour. So thanks for that. Okay, Blocky. Let's talk about Blocky. Man, after the first video, I was like, you know what? I'm all in on Blocky. I'm in on Blocky. And then this video, I was like, I'm out on I'm blocked out, I think is what Mr. Short Game said. I'm done with the block party. Look, man, he's a great player. I don't know if I've never met him. I can't speak to his personality. All I'm going to say is I've never seen Blocky find a camera that he doesn't love. Like, love. The guy loves attention, and that's just my opinion. I felt like it was a bit much in this video. And then obviously the thing at the end, like, what's going to happen with this? Do they leave it in? Like, someone said that Blocky just kind of disappeared, ran off. Obviously the week before he had missed the putt for the Open Championship. Is it just theatrics? What is going on with this Blocky cliffhanger at the end of the video? Is he going to throw his team under the bus? Like I said, we've got a little drama. little controversy. You love to see it. I know you guys in the comments, some of you guys said, we don't need the drama. We don't need the controversy. Save that for the Internet Invitational. I agree, but still, it adds so much. It adds so much to the video, and especially with someone like Blocky, who's just a lightning rod for attention. If I don't know what happened, I haven't really asked. I've been trying to just be as authentic as possible to give these videos more authentic commentary and reaction. Um, the internet's gonna have a field day with him if he's like, if he's like losing it on his team, like, oh, I played good, like now I'm going home. It's like, yeah, you played nine freaking holes. Um, you got invited to this thing, man. It's not like you were on the initial roster. Of course, you played 9 holes. You knew the format coming in. So anyway, like I said, Chan steal the draft, Blocky. What do you guys think is coming? Drop a comment and like and subscribe too while we're here trying to hit 25K. Okay, this part I'm so excited to talk about this because as someone who is a big advocate to get this person on site, and quote, I said the biggest snub of the initial Your Golf Tour roster was Ben Haden. And God, do I never, it feels so good. Never been more vindicated in my life after he hit that 2-iron on 18. I don't think people can comprehend how great that shot was in the moment, the pressure to hit a 2-iron from 300 to 20 feet, 15 feet. That was an unbelievable golf shot. And that is why I think Ben Haden should be on the Your Golf Tour from the very beginning. I'm pretty disappointed that he's a wild card. Is what it is. I think he's a great player. I think he's one of the 16 best YouTube golfers, and shots like that prove it. I actually texted Ben yesterday and asked him, where does that shot rank among your all-time shots that you've hit? He said, under the circumstances, it's the best shot he's ever hit, his favorite shot. So do with that what you will. Ben is a great golfer. He's played a lot of competitive golf. For him to say that is his favorite shot, I felt was pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to say something that may rub some people the wrong way, but I'm just going to give my raw opinion. Of the 4 captains, George played the worst, in my opinion. Not to look, I'm a scratch golfer. I'm not going to say I'm better than George, but just giving some critiques, that shot on 17, you just can't make that mistake. You cannot. You're fighting for that. You have to pull a club that's going to clear that front water. Making double there. Obviously, they were already it didn't end up being out of it. They didn't matter. But that was not a good shot. That was George, that draw, like, you have so much room behind the green. Like the pro shot is to hit it over and hit it long and give yourself the 30-footer down the hill. So do with that what you will. I'm just going to say George of the 4 captains played the worst. And I'm sure some people are going to say, oh, whatever. It is what it is. I'm allowed to give my opinions. This is my platform. Speaking of captains, Wesley. I mean, if this just confirms to me, if Wesley is playing at the top of his game, and we just saw what he did at the Open Championship qualifying, missed it by 1, he's the best player of all these people. And the second best player, in my opinion, is Ryan Ruffles. And I put on here, Ryan and Wes will dominate this thing if they continue to play like this. Them and alt shot is not really fair because, look, when you get to that elite level of, 0.5 shot is going to make a difference. These guys have it, and they were hitting great shots. They were holding great putts. And like I said, they are the 2 best players. Wesley is the best captain, although Brad playing really well on the DP World Tour. Obviously, this was filmed in mid-May. Who knows? Maybe Brad had some stuff on his mind with the whole good thing. But no, he seems a little more freed up playing well at the BMW International Open. But I still think if they played 10 times, I would pick Wesley 6, Brad 4. Just is what it is. Like, I think from that perspective, Wesley and Ruff are the best duo, followed by Sean and Brad. And they're the 2 teams that made it through, right? We could kind of talk about that. Team Wesley versus Team George. I am stoked for these 5 1v1s. I enjoyed this video very much. I don't want to get too hyped about the next one, but I just think that format is going to be really, really cool. I love match play. I love seeing that. That's my favorite part of the Ryder Cup. Really, really excited for that next format and to see who is playing who. Maybe we get a Wesley George match. I guess, what would your guys' ideal matches be? I would love to see Wes versus Brad. I know I just said Wes versus George. I meant Brad. Wes versus Brad. Ruff versus Sean would be great. Peter versus Peter versus Micah, Roger versus Haddon, Garrett versus whoever. Speaking of Micah, I'll give Micah some flowers. Micah did really play well. I felt like Micah got the most hate for being in this thing, other than Josh Kelly. Shout out Josh. But yeah, I think Micah. I got to give Micah some flowers. He held his own in this thing, and he's a good player. So shout out to Micah. Yeah, and how about Brad? Right decision. How good of a leader, captain is Brad? Right, making that right decision, starting Peter over Garrett, not really being sure about that. Ultimately, to have Peter sink the winning putt on 18 for Eagle to get them through to the final round of the first stop of the Your Golf Tour. Kind of goes back to that storytelling thing I was talking about at the very beginning. That's about it, guys. I love this episode. If this is what the Your Golf Tour is, sign me up for more of this. Selfishly, I hope I get to be at one of these things on site. I'll sign whatever NDA possible, but this thing was really cool. And I'm excited for, like I said, the excitement I had from not watching the first video to watching it, like that hype up period was very excited. Wasn't as excited for the first video to the second video, because I liked the first video. I didn't love the first video. I loved this video. But in a weird thing, this first video, as of time recording this, only has about 1.2. I say only, not a shot at those guys, but the first one had about 3.8 million in the first 24 hours. This one, it seems like whenever they do the major cut or whatever, the video on Grant's channel always pops off. The first one always seems to pop off, and the one of the Brian Bros does very well, but I'm curious to see how the viewership trends from episode to episode and then from stop to stop. Who knows when the next one's being filmed, but I'm curious to see what momentum they build. And I'm, like I said, very, very excited for the rendition, the final. Like, I'm through the roof ecstatic for, I think it's the 6th, Monday, 3 days away from recording this video, that the Your Golf Tour third stop and final stop is going to be. I'm excited to see the match play format. Excited to see who was playing who. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoy a great holiday weekend. We've got some cool content coming. Ben will be coming on for an interview soon. Like I said, we're releasing an interview with JP next week. Hopefully getting Brad on in July before the Rocket Classic or at the Rocket Classic for a podcast to talk about everything, his DP World Tour stuff. Hopefully he talks about the good stuff. Anyway, so hit that subscribe button, like, comment. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.